Going on to all of my Aries. So let's get into it. So the cards that I come up with are the Ace of Swords, the Hierophant, the Temperance, the Six of Pentacles. There we go. The Devil, the Ten of Wands, Two of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles, Seven of Cups, excuse me, and the Nine of Wands. Okay, so sorry about that. So this is for Aries. So what I'm seeing here for you Aries, right, is a lot of you Aries don't necessarily know right now as to that's very interesting. It's very interesting. A lot of you Aries right now are going through a very powerful transformation. You have two major arcana in a row, the Hierophant and the Temperance, right? And then you even have the Ace of Swords. So what's being created about you is you're basically becoming, excuse me, you're basically becoming the type of a person who is forming into someone different than who you were or are now. But you're taking the baby steps to actually become somebody different, more powerful, better. And a lot of you Aries are liking, or you're taking a good stance on where this is going. I'm seeing how the Hierophant, the Temperance, a lot of people, excuse me, a lot of people are not necessarily going to like the fact that a lot of you Aries are deciding to take a less serious stance. How do I say this? A lot of you Aries are starting to understand that your power is within your own self. Your power is with yourself. So a lot of you Aries are starting to understand that since that's the case, you're just simply not allowing other people to take your power away from you. And how you do that is by choosing not to participate, right? That's one of the ways. A lot of you Aries are also starting to be in a situation for yourselves where not only that, but also learning how to be okay by yourselves. A lot of times Aries gets a terrible rep for being the most annoying, right? I'll say that. But in actuality, it's not that Aries tries to be boisterous, loud, disrespectful, cut people off, stuff like this. What it is with Aries is that Aries doesn't necessarily know if they are projecting, if they are coming across clear enough. So you have to take into consideration that for any of my cross watchers and for any of my Aries, right, themselves, Aries rules over audiology, right, which means the mic, right, mics, as well as the headphones, right? Aries rules over audiology. So this is a situation for a lot of you where a lot of you Aries are learning to accept certain things about yourselves that actually created a form of a protection for you, right? The fact that a lot of people tend to misconstrue Aries and make it seem like Aries are that bad, the ones that you were in a relationship with specifically or in particular, it kept you from being in a relationship with these individuals who would do nothing but drain you of your resources anyway and try to finesse you based upon using you, usury. So the Six of Pentacles and the Devil now represents, well, since this is the case, and a lot of you Aries pass that test, what happens now is a lot of you Aries understand that what you've got going on is much more important, because you should be looking for, and this is something that a lot of you Aries have just now started to start to understand, that you should be looking for someone that can actually offer back, offer reciprocation, right? Where the two of you actually are looking out for each other. But at the same time, this person, well, the Devil card means a couple of things. It means that there will be a lot of people who are not into reciprocation. They're into usury. They're into being a parasite. They're into going from person to person, essentially committing date fraud, where they're trying to get the other person to fall in love with them, which will cloud their judgment to get something out of them. You know, that's what an Aquarius tried to do with me. If the person is even Aquarius at all, because this person, come to find out, lied about so much stuff. And but the point that I'm trying to make here with that is that you Aries are becoming more aware of the kind of games that people play, and just how far people are willing to really take these manipulative games to the next level, and how risky those games can be, right? And how at the end of it, one person ends up walking away as considered the winner, but in actuality, they're not really the winner. They're the biggest parasite, while the other person is heartbroken, holding on to their chest, right? Because of the fact that it hurts so much because the relationship didn't work out. And then considering how hard a lot of the Aries get themselves into situations, because Aries is the sign of romanticism. So a lot of times Aries likes to romanticize their romantic relationships. Then it ends up turning out to be what? Just the Ten of Wands. You realizing that you're not supposed to be with these people because they're too dysfunctional. They have too many different things going on. If a person, for instance, if a person doesn't want you to come by their home after a certain amount of time of you knowing them, that's a red flag. If a person, flakes, it's a red flag, because the truth is that they only flaked because they didn't want you to think of them as being lame, because they really didn't have anything to really do. They just flaked for sport because they wanted you to think, well, not for sport, but they flaked because they wanted you to be distracted with the idea of being so upset, and your mind being clouded with anger, that you're not paying attention to what's actually happening. What's actually happening is, it's not that they went out and had fun with another person, right, behind your back. That can possibly happen, but more than likely that didn't really happen. What it is that they didn't want you to know they really don't have a whole lot going on, and they didn't really have anything to do, but they think that you would think of them as being low value if they didn't have a place to be or something to do. So a lot of those types of people don't necessarily really understand, though, Aries, right? And these are just some examples, but a lot of those times people don't necessarily really understand that you've created one bigger problem by trying to solve a small problem, right? Meaning, what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is, instead of just going out and hanging out with the person, or, going out and hanging, like I said, going out and hanging out with the person, and don't worry about it so much. You know what it is that ends up happening? People who flake overthink it, and they go, I need somewhere to be. I don't want this person to think of me as being a loser. Meanwhile, that's them saying that stuff to themselves, because if a person really plans on doing you good, Aries, right? Doing you well, doing right by you, they're not even going to be looking at you like that. Now, I'm not saying that you Aries flake. I didn't say that. What I'm saying is that people who have your best interest in mind, they're going to follow through, because they're going to follow through. They're going to follow through. The 2 and the 3 of Pentacles represents a situation for yourself, Aries, where the 2 of Pentacles represents the types of relationship that you want. You, somebody else. But the 3 of Pentacles represents the type of relationship dynamic that you're getting. You want a monogamous relationship. Other people are only here as a fly-by-night type of situation. And this is where fly-by-nights can be risky, because when someone starts talking to you about, traveling here and traveling there and traveling there, immediately, and it usually means that they're flighty. It means that they can be flighty. There's nothing wrong with traveling, but you should be suspicious of a person where, as soon as you're getting to know them, they got to visit such and such, or they're going out of town. They're letting you know right now that they're giving you a difficult time, because they want you to think of them as being important. Meanwhile, you never said that they wasn't. Not only that, but they may also be telling you their occupation. I'm not going to get that further into it. The 7 of Cups and the 9 of Wands. The 7 of Cups represents the type of, also it represents the relationship dynamic. How you feel. That you're always willing to give more than what it is that you get. And that's kind of the point. That's kind of that kind of that's kind of what creates, or is a distinction or a telltale sign of when a person is an upstanding and a decent person, is that they produce more than what it is that they consume. An indecent person is, they usually consume or eat, right? Gluttony, more than greed and gluttony, right? More than what it is that they produce. And there's usually a whole lot of laziness, sloth, when it comes to them giving. So you have a willingness to provide. You have a willingness to give. And the thing is that you have the 9 of Wands. The 9 of Wands is that you're realizing that you are meeting a lot of people who are not really willing to provide back. You're supposed to provide for each other. Provide, produce. You're realizing that a lot of people are not willing to provide back to you. And it sucks. But I see that a lot of you Aries are doing the work. And a lot of you Aries are learning. And you're also learning that that's not necessarily the best case for you to do, which is to hold on to it. A lot of you Aries are starting to realize that You're starting to learn your way around parasitic people who want to use you, because that's what it's called. It's called usury, where usury is basically, in a nutshell, usury is basically when a person gives you something, and that what they want back in exchange is, at first it seems like it's capable of you repaying it back, right? Basically a loan shark. But then it starts to grow exponentially what this person wants in return, to the point where you find yourself in debt, and this person wants compensation back or reimbursement on with and the interest that they are charging you for giving you that, right? Because you want to have a good name out here, and depending on who it is, they may even try to threaten you with some sort of violence. And a lot of you Aries, like I said before, is not down with it, because at first it seems harmless, right? But then they start charging you and upcharging you and doing all this type of stuff. And the next thing you know, you may end up losing your house or something like this. That's usury, because what's usury is they're counting on the fact that they do something small for you in exchange for something so great, and that from you. And that's how it is that they end up making their fortune. That's how it is that they operate. That's how they eat. That's how they feed. That's how they prosper. They prosper off of being a parasite to other people. And this is what you have a lot of people out here in the dating pool doing, trying to be a parasite. But see, they're parasitic, but that's not even their intention. Even when they say it is, that's not even really their intention. Their intention is to really produce, but they will settle for being a parasite because they don't know how to function from a non-parasitic approach or perspective, if that makes sense. So let's clarify the Seven of Cups. What is up with these shuffles? Hold on. The Lovers. To clarify the Seven of Cups, we have the Lovers, the Ten of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups, and the Knight of Swords. So to clarify the Seven of Cups. So the Lovers, the Ten of Pentacles is that understanding that with these types of people who are trying to use you, you have to learn to walk away, despite how much fun times you and them were having, despite how well the physical intimacy was. The Ace of Cups, the Knight of Swords, they will even tell you that they love you, things that they shouldn't even say. They'll tell you anything that they think you want to hear. So let's keep that in mind. Pay attention to what's going on out here and make your decisions the best that you can. But you Aries need to also understand that you are becoming better. You're being more aware of people playing games out here. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the video. I'm currently on 3,011 subscribers, trying to get to 3,500 or 3,500 subscribers. Please keep hitting that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and set the notification bell to all so you can be notified whenever I drop these videos. Peace.